This week's episode was brought to you by Joseph Walker, Jizmac, Alejandro Leon, Kyle Smith, and Devin Phillips. Thank you, Joseph Walker, Jizmac, Alejandro Leon, Kyle Smith, and Devin Phillips. It's with the generous support of listeners just like you that we at The Whole Rabbit get to keep infusing the Astral Soda Pop with quantum bubbles guaranteed to give you amygdala freeze so hard you start thinking in Arnold Schwarzenegger. If you'd like to help us keep bottling strange and interesting occult-flavored podcasts each week, please visit www.patreon.com/thewholerabbit, where your monthly donation of just $5 gets you access to our entire library of extended episodes in convenient RSS feed format compatible with your podcast player of choice. But that's not all. I'll even send you a 5x5 vinyl sticker of our cover art sent to you at no additional cost, and the secret keys to our Discord server where you can hear Euro dance hits by Spirit Travel Plaza, who created the intro music for our show. If you happily enjoy the free show, please make sure to give us a like, subscribe, review, or share. We're such a small show that even one person doing that makes such a huge difference. On this week's episode, we do our best to cover the Balenciaga scandal in its detailed hegemonic glory before the entire story gets memory holed and dumped into the annals of politically untenable topics forever. We lay out a concise story and explore the dark legacy of all the parties involved. In the extended episode, we go dangerously deep down the rabbit hole to discover the deeper layers which link Balenciaga to Epstein and beyond. Thank you, and enjoy the show.
I don't even know what QAnon is.
It's honestly better.
You just tried to explain it to me before, and I just don't.
It was just like an insider that was posting on 4chan and then 8chan. They were dropping hints about what was going to happen and making basically connect the dots kind of posts where they would mention one thing that's happening or a group of people that's doing shit, and they'd post screenshots that can't be found anywhere else on the internet, and it's obviously an insider that has security cameras that the government has access to, and it was pretty interesting. People think it is a psyop.
You're not supposed to talk about frazzled.
Do we know for certain that wasn't Michael Aquino?
I mean, it could be.
So the reason QAnon is called Q is because Q is a designation for the most top level of the top secret military clearance that you can get.
Do they have the UFOs?
Yeah, they know all that stuff.
They got the QFOs.
Hello everybody, and welcome to The Whole Rabbit, where we don't just tell you about the proclivities of vampires from the biblical age. Nay, we open up the smelly, overpriced underbelly of the devil's baby skin Gucci bag and read her owl feather crusted gift receipts to see who's next on the runway to offer up their body and soul for fame and fortune, because this week we're discussing Balenciaga and its kiddo selling campaign of high fashion meant to service only the most expensive tastes. I'm your host, Hack Rabbit. I'm joined this week by the hunter of Hunter's laptop, Mari Sama.
How can one man need this many dick pics?
The dot connector of connected evildoers, Malachor 5.
Yes, I have a lot of dots on my character sheet.
And the stunning sleuth of satanic fashion, Heka Astra.
Hello!
Disclaimer, everything we discuss in this episode is 100% fiction. None of it's real. I love my life, and I'm looking forward to my plans in the future.
Same.
I can't willfully say same.
Yeah, it's tough where to even start with this whole thing. But thankfully, recent events in the media have essentially landed this episode right on our laps to cover.
When we started researching about the Balenciaga scandal, it was everywhere in the news. And by the time we're recording this, and especially by the time you hear it, it's already being memory holed.
Yeah, a lot of shit's being scrubbed already. It is my personal opinion that the elite don't spend billions of dollars making luxury items more accessible to poor kids. They make the poor kids more accessible as luxury items to the elite class.
Chilling.
I'm also going to say I'm not going to soften my language this episode. I think softening the language is trying to soften the impact of what's actually happening, so I'm going to call it as I see it. And I apologize in advance to Luke because he's going to have to censor the crap out of it.
Well, censorship is evil in this way, isn't it?
I fundamentally agree, but I do want the most people to hear the message without it being blacklisted. So if you want to hear the uncensored version, check out their Patreon. There's another thing I want to preface before getting started. Not everybody who believes in conspiracy theories is a right-wing Republican or a Christian or a Trump supporter, etc. I think the mainstream benefits from keeping us polarized and keeping the entire domain of, quote, conspiracy theories a highly politicized area where people can't even talk about it. That's totally inappropriate. Don't assume my politics based on this conversation.
Likewise.
And since I was outed as a previous Q supporter, I don't really check into it much anymore, though apparently there's still posts. I had a story. I had a Q sticker on my car for a while. It was just a Q, like nothing else. It didn't say anything else. I go to my friend's house every Friday night to hang out. We have dinner and stuff. And there's a bunch of people there. And one of these guys, this asshole, this loudmouth, comes in the room and he's like, "Mary, is that a Q sticker on your car?" I'm like, in the middle of everybody, I'm like, yeah, it means question everything. And I have to reiterate, this only happened after South Park dropped their QAnon episode where they made fun of these people. So they didn't even have any idea it was going on until it was on, like, people were making fun of it on, like, mainstream media and stuff like that. So anyway, I spent the next week crying and scraping it off my car.
I feel like I had a bit of an upper hand in researching for this episode because of my background in fashion design, because of my background in the industry for fashion and for film. Like, I knew what to look for and who to look for. So I at least have some inside knowledge as to how this industry works.
She kept saying, like, I don't know anything about celebrities, Luke. And I was like, well, Balenciaga. She was like, had like a whole tree about it.
I just needed to know the brand name. That's it. I really don't know celebrities. I don't know politicians. I don't pay attention to that kind of stuff. But I do know fashion.
Dude called me out was a sneakerhead, too.
I've got notes on this stuff going back to the old WikiLeaks days. I did download a bunch of the sites that I found relevant. So there's some stuff I'm going to be talking about that's like going to be coming from like non-fashion, like reporting stuff, because it's all connected though. Like, it's the same cast of villains in this James Bond movie we got here. I'm just going to say it at the start, it's very hard to keep track of all of it, and it's not our fault for not getting the full picture. It's easy to not see the problem without seeing the full picture, first of all, and all the connections and all the moving parts themselves. So this episode, I'm going to try to net in, like, literally nuclear arms dealing, gun smuggling with the same cast of characters that are running the modeling industry and the fashion world.
And the art world.
And the art world and pizzas and stuff like that. So something just recently happened in the news that got me all excited and it activated my schizo mode.
It was Sunday night, November 27th, 2022. Kim Kardashian, after many days of silence, finally released a statement on Twitter concerning the controversy surrounding fashion designer Balenciaga, a brand she had been closely associated with.
And still is.
So Kim tweets, "I have been quiet for the past few days, not because I haven't been disgusted and outraged by the recent Balenciaga campaigns, but because I wanted an opportunity to speak to their team to understand myself how this could have happened."
Right.
Mm-hmm. You were asking them what the say.
The images Kim Kardashian is referring to have spread across the internet like wildfire, trending on Twitter and stirring up outrage wherever they are seen. Since the scandal broke, Balenciaga has entirely deleted their content off Instagram, with only their apology statement remaining. The images in question are from Balenciaga's gift collection campaign, which was shot by photographer Gabriella Galimberti, who, responding to the outrage over the shoot, claims to have had no control over the content of the photo shoot itself. He was merely responsible for the lighting and shooting in his signature style. A quick glance at Gabriella's Instagram will reveal many variations of the same motif used for the ad in question. A colorful portrait with the subject surrounded by a neatly arranged multitude of personal items, usually guns. Galimberti is well known for a variation on this theme in his Toy Story series featuring children, usually standing atop furniture, surrounded by their favorite toys. We see the same thing in Balenciaga's gift collection campaign, except it's children surrounded by empty wine glasses whiskey flasks, whips, leashes, BDSM-fitted teddy bears with blackened eyes, and crime scene tape. This leads us to question, was Galimberti set up? If you compare Toy Stories to the gift collection campaign, the difference between them is like a sardonic joke. The kids are glowing with pride and joy in Toy Stories, which makes it endearing. This is in sharp contrast to the kids that look, well, a little bit disturbed, afraid, or depressed in the gift collection campaign. I think it's interesting that Galimberti is only taking responsibility for lighting the scene, and in my opinion, that's one of the worst things about the image with the girl in the blue dress that's all over the internet. The one holding the BDSM doll, there's no light reflecting in her eyes. It makes her look dead and lifeless. It's a bad take, in my opinion, for a photograph.
Having done fashion photography, it does actually look like he lit it well. And it actually makes me wonder if they removed that sparkle in her eye post.
It just wasn't important.
Interestingly enough, in John Carpenter's The Thing, he purposely made sure that in every scene, whoever was the thing, they don't have a light in their eyes.
Ah.
So that's how you know the ending and what really happens.
Clever.
I don't know if anyone else noticed this too, but the color coordination between I think it's a little girl holding a purple teddy bear and she's wearing the purple, I think it's a romper.
They're very similarly colored.
They're very similarly colored. It almost looks to me like they're trying to show you that she is the object that she's holding.
Right, and they're holding a teddy bear. If you don't know teddy bear stuff, I believe it was the cops who used this to catch predators. They would use the pedo bear image as code, as a dog whistle to, potential online predators to lure them in and get them and catch them. Or at least that's what they say. That's why we're freaking out. It's like they're holding a teddy bear with BDS. That's like a big red flag. That activated all the anons on the internet.
The vagina eyes on the one was kind of weird too.
Ugh.
So just to quickly list off some of the weird shit, if you haven't looked at these photos, there's children's art on the wall that's a little bit questionable. There's also the caution tape that was cut so that Balenciaga is actually spelled with 2 A's, making it Balenciaga. There's a multitude of things going on in this photo shoot that's questionable at best. So in an interview with The Insider, Galimberti stated, "I received an email from Balenciaga and they basically told me, Demna found your book and loved your style and we want to work with you." So Galimberti was specifically chosen by Demna, the head of Balenciaga's creative direction, to photograph the gift collection items with children according to his trademark Toy Story style. There is no way that Demna was oblivious to the items in his own collection to be featured with children. And furthermore, a crew of 25 people from Balenciaga were present at the shoot to ensure that it was captured according to the creative director's vision.
So anyone claiming that the corporate at Balenciaga, we had no idea they published this, there's no oversight. It's like they were all there. They ordered it.
Yes, and it also goes through a series of post-production that has to be approved over and over again. There's no way that they didn't know what the fuck was going on.
Right. Like how movie directors, we've said before, like costumes and stuff in movies, if it's in the final cut, it's there with meticulous purpose. No, it has to be this way, and they freak out about it. So these photo shoots, everything in the photo shoot has been put there.
And approved, yeah.
Take multiple shots of this and you don't notice, come on.
Another thing that I thought was interesting is Kim Kardashian's half-sister, Kendall Jenner. She received flack during the aftermath of the scandal for posting photos on her Instagram of playing with her baby and wearing Balenciaga. So people are saying that she's covering for Balenciaga while wearing Balenciaga. And I think that's highly possible, considering that this is the same woman that thought it was awesome to sexualize a young Toy Story character this year for Halloween. That's Kendall Jenner dressed up as sexy Jessie from the Pixar film Toy Story. And it's interesting to see the sexualization of a child character from a movie of the same name as the trademark photos of the campaign's photographer. It just seems like a bunch of elites giving nods to each other to me.
Mm-hmm.
And on top of this, while Kim Kardashian was supposedly disgusted and outraged by the campaign, she also refuses to cut ties with the brand. So as it stands, it's all just words and no actions to actually denounce the brand.
I saw people burning the stuff.
Not Kim Kardashian.
Nope.
Not Kanye West either.
Nope.
So I'm friends with Demna. That's my Kanye voice. Anyway, so apologizing on Instagram on the 2nd of December and taking full responsibility for the gift collection campaign is the fashion designer megastar Demna Gvasalia from Balenciaga. So he's the head designer and creative director of Balenciaga, and he's posted in the past on his Instagram.
Someone wrote that Lotta, Gasha, and I grew up on child pornography and radiation from Chernobyl, which is why we're so fucked up.
Lamau, right?
It's a pretty fucked thing to post, right? No,
Oh,
totally
Demna
fine?
posted that.
Demna, the designer of Balenciaga, posted that in the past. Which he's also gone silent on Instagram. I think he privatized everything. So Balenciaga had also previously deleted their Twitter account, and this was supposedly in protest of Elon Musk taking over. And it just so happens that Musk also sought to tackle the major issue that the platform had, where material involving child sexual abuse was being shared openly on the platform. And Musk said that the issue would be priority number 1 to deal with. So why did they really delete their Twitter account?
You know, they're posting pictures and they look like they're in BDSM stuff. And, you know, I'm really open with sexuality and stuff. Like, you know, if you want to do that. But if you're also like hanging with pedos, and then you're like telling the world like you're a sex driven individual, and then you're like hanging with it's like that just not cool with me. So you got to go.
And there's a time and place for that. And like, I understand if it's an artistic shoot or something, but you know, you don't wear your GIMP mask to a fucking Chuck E. Cheese, all right?
Why not? That's just a cool thing to do now.
No.
Well, that brings us to the other photo shoot in question, right?
It does. Demna's Instagram for November 2nd displays 2 kids wearing GIMP masks and black leather gloves with claws to announce the release of Adidas and Balenciaga collaboration displayed in the now infamous Garde Robe photo shoot containing the Supreme Court decision about CP.
A month ago, I didn't know goddamn shit about any of these people.
This is what I know about Demna. Demna came on the scene and made the sleeves really long. And he is a genius for making the sleeves so long. Like, before that, people had never thought to make sleeves that long before. And now, when people look at people wearing long sleeves, they think, oh my god, it is the most silhouette of sleeves I've ever sleeved and seen. And that's Demna.
They're. I mean, it's no secret that a large amount of models in the fashion industry are underage. So I'm not surprised that these are underage people wearing GIMP masks.
Well, they scout them when they're minors because they want to be the first one to sign them when they're 18.
All right. Let's get through Balenciaga.
All right.
We'll start talking about that later.
So we're going to talk about the second campaign and photo shoot known as Garde Robe.
Although during the controversy, both photo shoots have frequently been presented together. The images said to contain suspiciously placed court documents about pedophilia were from a different photo shoot for a spring 2023 campaign in collaboration with Adidas, known as Garde Robe, which, according to the company, recontextualizes elements of sportswear that have been part of Balenciaga's creative language.
Fine words to have.
Very creative language.
Let's talk about the court documents in this shoot.
Strewn across an office desk and positioned under a $3,000 black hourglass handbag were court documents from 2008 Supreme Court case, the United States versus Williams. Williams, having pled guilty to possessing sexually explicit images of his own daughter, was fighting the additional charge of pandering by arguing that his solicitation of the illegal material was protected by his First Amendment rights to freedom of speech. The court ruled 7-2 that offers to engage in illegal transactions are categorically excluded from First Amendment protection. The case also held up laws prohibiting the solicitation of illegal material even when the material itself was, by itself, normally legal. Example, if you take and distribute pictures of legally aged consenting women but solicit it as underage material, it's against the law.
Also, good.
To take things even deeper, the exact excerpts visible in the photo shoot are from Justice Scalia's opinion section regarding the majority decision on the ruling. Scalia wrote in 2008, "Sexually explicit conduct connotes actual depiction of the sex act rather than merely the suggestion that it is occurring. And simulated sexual intercourse is not sexual intercourse that is merely suggested, but rather sexual intercourse that is explicitly portrayed, even though, through camera tricks or otherwise, it may not have actually occurred." In short, The commentary visible in the Balenciaga photo shoot is of Scalia clarifying that simulated sex, like in animation or 3D digital modeling, was not considered illegal and was still protected by the First Amendment, referencing a free speech coalition case where this had already been established. So I thought it was interesting that the specific court case, as accidental as it was supposedly supposed to be, was about the solicitation of illegal goods, right? Which is kind of what the gift collection photo shoot was about. It was like, oh, we're kind of like soliciting this, but we're trying to hide it.
I think in case anyone thinks this is an accident, they should be aware that there's other elements as well in the same photo shoot.
Elsewhere in the Garde Robe photo shoot, books The Cremaster's Cycle by Matthew Barney and, more importantly, Fire from the Sun by painter Michael Boremann are clearly visible as props. Now, because I'm not a fascist, I don't believe in enforcing a moral or aesthetic structure on art. I fundamentally don't see a problem with strange, subversive, or otherwise reprehensible art if it's not the result of physically harming somebody.
I agree with this. I've drawn some pretty fucked up stuff too.
Same.
But that doesn't mean I can't use it as evidence hunting people that are doing actual bad things because they have a taste for those things.
Right. And I would also question, like, if someone had my artwork next to a child, I would also question that still. I think it's all contextual, like how you display it is also part of it. They're literally using these books as props to sell items. So I think that should be taken into consideration.
Yeah, the court documents, they said like they were from some TV show filming. It's just like some bullshit.
I mean, they have the freedom to put that in their advertisement. I have the freedom to tell people about it. Let's see what happens next.
Yeah.
So what about the artwork that we're talking about that are in these books?
Well, Matthew Barney's artwork is pretty weird. While bestial, gory, gender-bending, and satanic themes abound in Cremaster's Cycle, themes of violence towards and fetishization of children are largely absent, at least from what I can tell. It's a big body of work, so correct me if I'm wrong. Anyway, Michael Boremann's Fire from the Sun, however, is an entirely different story. Some of Michael Boremann's Fire from the Sun includes numerous realistic depictions of male toddlers writhing and playing in blood. Sometimes their body parts are being burned or amputated as other toddlers look on. One image shows the blood-covered toddlers castrated and bleeding from their wounds. Many adult figures are depicted as entirely robed in black, featuring hoods which completely obscure the face, reminiscent of various head coverings Balenciaga is now known for and used for that exact campaign the book is featured as a prop in.
Tell me that's accidental.
Look up Michael Boremann's Fire from the Sun, just not at work.
Yeah.
I would just say don't, because it's gross. It's not worth the time, in my opinion.
I mean, you got to look evil in the face to know what you're dealing with, so. And there's lots of artworks like this that you see in the art world that people collect. And it may not be explicitly sexual or like depict actual intercourse, but it still has themes of abuse and suffering, pain, and these. Even the hoods are suggestive of some kind of society or like ritualistic killings.
I mean, if you look at the artwork in this book and you see the robed figures with the hoods up and the fully covered faces, all in black, it looks a lot like that Balenciaga outfit that Kim Kardashian was wearing as well.
Yeah, Balenciaga's official response in quote, no malevolent,
Wow, you guys can't say it at all.
No malevolent scheme going on, end quote.
Mm-hmm.
But they removed all their shit. It's like, well, if there's no scheme going on.
Nothing going on here. Don't look at it, though.
You can't look at it anymore because we took it down. Okay, sure, buddy.
So like Michael Boremann is out there in the art world. Now, David Zwirner's gallery described Michael Boremann's work of this type as featuring, quote, toddlers engaged in playful but mysterious acts with sinister overtones and insinuations of violence.
Right.
So that's what the art world thinks of it. Like, well, it's a little creepy.
Well, on top of the photos with the children and the court case and the Michael Boremann book photos, there is yet another photo from the same Garde Robe campaign that should solidify the intentional use of these images and symbols, in case it's not clear enough. In another photo, it shows a man standing in the office wearing a suit, and next to him on the desktop is a framed diploma with the name John Philip Fisher on it. A quick Google search of this name reveals that it belongs to an 80-year-old man that was charged with 7 counts of sexual misconduct. He was convicted in 2018 for molesting his granddaughter from the age of 4 until 16. Judge Parrott revoked his bail shortly after he was let get out on bail. Is everyone picking up on the repeating theme in these campaign photos now?
Yeah, the image selection falls on brand at this point.
Yeah.
How many charges?
7.
Such a great number. And if you look to the right of the frame, or frame left, you'll see 2 eagles looking
shit.
opposite directions as bookends on a white and a black book.
Oh, snap.
Golden eagles.
And then on the other side, it's a globe, but it could arguably be Saturn with
It
a
does.
ring around it.
It totally looks like Saturn.
I believe that's white oleander, if I could be wrong, but it's a white flower plant. I don't know what it is.
The letters positioned underneath the frame are A and L, which are a sacred name of God.
It's true. The frame is like centered right above A and L.
Oh, wow.
Let's just say the male model in the image has very sneaky hands. It was for this Garde Robe photo shoot specifically that Balenciaga opened a $25 million lawsuit against set designer Nicolas Desjardins and the company representing him, North 6. However, on December the 3rd, just a few days later, ancient times whenever you hear this episode, Balenciaga dropped the lawsuit against Jardine and North 6. So, like Kim Kardashian's statement, nothing is gonna be done about it. Everybody gets away. If people weren't burning their Balenciaga items on Twitter all day, literally nothing would be happening.
Yeah, and then people come up and say, oh, well, they sued the guy that set up the child photo shoot. And then everyone else, all the NPCs are like, okay, that's good enough for me. And they go back to buying and like eating grass.
Yeah, it'll make front page news that Balenciaga is doing this lawsuit, but it won't make front page news that they dropped it 3 days later.
Yeah.
So if you've worked in the fashion industry, you know that every single image used is edited and then approved post-production by the creative director and their team. So all the photos in question from both shoots had to be scrutinized and approved by Balenciaga before being posted. I think they just dropped the lawsuit because otherwise others would be at risk for being ratted out. That's personally what I think. I'm sure they all have blackmail on each other.
For sure. But, it is to save face and to get all of the heat off of their back in the event that it happens. Well, I've even heard other commentators saying, what's her name that's with Gosha?
Oh, Lada?
The stylist?
Yeah, people were saying that the stylist hasn't worked with Balenciaga in like 3 years. But they're all like close-knit friends that hang out all the time.
Yeah.
That you can't dismiss this because, she hasn't been on their payroll for like 2 years. It's like that has nothing to do. Like she was part of this regardless or not because she's friends with all these people.
They've been close for a long time, the three of them.
They're like, oh, don't go after Lotta because she wasn't working with them like this year and blah, blah, blah. It's like, yeah, but she was still part of the design team.
So Kim Kardashian was given the title of the new face of Balenciaga, right? So I was wondering if there was any link between Kim Kardashian and the photographer and set designer Nicolas Desjardins. And I found a photo shoot that he did of Kim on a website called Map Limited.
Ugh.
Map. Okay.
So them pretty much like taking all their stuff down now and not like releasing this, line of stuff. It just makes their stuff more valuable and more sought after for these elites. If you have one of these items in these photo shoots.
Would you call it limited?
Yeah.
So Nicolas Desjardins has also done extensive work and multiple shoots with Balenciaga in the past. They're not strangers. It's not like they've just started working together. Looking into Nicolas Desjardins' portfolio, I saw several repeating themes that made me uncomfortable. So first, there also seems to be a weird kid thing going on. The repeated use of children's beds, butterflies, as well as some other strange stuff. For instance, one shoot features Lil Nas X laying on the floor next to a child's bed, where a stuffed dog toy lays on the floor at the end of the bed with his legs duct taped together. Another photo featured in Jardines' portfolio showed a woman laying on a little girl's bed with butterfly sheets. And yet another shoot shows a woman laying on a child's bed with her legs raised up on the wall next to a Raggedy Andy doll in the same pose. So at first glance, that photo doesn't seem too strange, even if the doll's pose is a bit suggestive. But looking closer at the photo, I also noticed a picture on the wall with a man kissing a young boy and the words "kiss off" on that picture.
It looks like an old Archie comic style thing.
Yeah, it's kind of comic book looking side profile. But it's a man kissing a boy with the words kiss off. So it's easy to stop here and just say that it was this dude that was responsible for the inappropriate Balenciaga photos. But this Nicolas Desjardins guy isn't even the only one working for Balenciaga that seems to have a penchant for inappropriate kitty stuff, because the list continues. So the photography for the recent Garde Robe campaign was shot by 2 photographers, the first of which is Joshua Bright, who's a photographer for the New York Times, Washington Post, The Guardian, and others. So he's not typically a fashion designer, which to me, coming from a fashion design background, seems a bit unusual. Both the gift collection campaign and the Garde Robe campaign had non-fashion photographers working alongside the usual company. Anyhow, when I looked into Joshua Bright's work, he seemed like your typical newspaper photographer. The other photographer of Garde Robe, however, was Chris Maggio. And this is the guy credited for taking the photo featuring the court case documents. And oh boy, Chris Maggio.
Yeah, Chris Maggio had a website, models.com, and that ties in Lada, Gosha, and what's her name? Marina
Abramovic.
They're all on there. You know, it's like a Wikipedia of models.
So Chris Maggio has an extensive history as a photographer for Balenciaga under Demna's reign, as well as shooting for Gucci, Adidas, and a couple other fashion magazines like Vogue. Now I'm just going to straight out call this guy an unabashed pedo, because after looking at his personal Instagram, this dude has so much gross shit I can't even list it all.
It's pretty weird. Like, even if you look at Lada's stuff, it's kind of like artsy to some extent. Some of this is just like trashy, like gross.
Most of the weird pics on his Instagram, they are not even professional photos. They're just weird candid shots off his phone or something of other people's kids and stuff. So here's a few examples that I'm going to just list off. There's a boy hugging a large eggplant statue. There's a young girl with white ice cream all over her face. There's a small child being pushed around by her parent in a wire basket on wheels, looking like she's in a cage. There's a man holding his baby by the crotch with the title, Like Father, Like Son. There's a man holding a Christmas present with eye holes cut out of the box and wide eyes peeking out with the title, Last Christmas Present. He actually posted that picture twice. And the second caption was, "It's way easier to give your sibling as a gift instead of shopping for one." So this,
Not even funny to me, dude. This is just like, oh my god, dude.
it doesn't even.
These people.
Yeah, man, it doesn't even end there. This guy also has an obsession with hot dogs. Photos of other people's kids eating hot dogs are included in that obsession. One photo shows a white van that says A Child's World on the side and a phone number on it, with Maggio's captioning it with the words direct line. The comments under this photo are also fucked up, with people saying round trip to Neverland twice a day and free hot dogs. So can someone please briefly summarize why I'm bringing up hot dogs, pizza, and butterflies?
This is reminding me of Comet Ping Pong's Instagram.
Well, the former president of the United States loves hot dogs from Chicago.
You mean Obama?
Yeah, he loves hot dogs from Chicago.
Yeah. Oh my God. The pizza party at the White House.
They asked Hillary Clinton what her favorite food was, and she smiled and said pizza.
Ugh. So the food connection, apparently, this goes way back to WikiLeaks. So a lot of these emails were leaked, particularly from DNC emails between Podesta's, their friends and family, the Clintons, their friends and family, and the Obamas when they were in the White House. There was a lot of those kind of emails. So the whole hot dog obsession in this work reminds me of Comet Ping Pong is owned by James Alefantis, and they had an Instagram channel, and they would show lots of pizza imagery, specifically cheese pizza. The FBI actually had files about code language that pedophiles would use to trade children and traffic children. CP is for child pornography, obviously, but they allude it to cheese pizza to use code language. And then this started to spread into other food items, such as hot dogs would be little boys, cheese pizzas, little girls, walnut sauce would be a colored child, like a minority child. A lot of these food terms would show up in these WikiLeaks emails. And people noticed that there was some weird language around it, like people sending an email for, hey, would you like to get cheese pizza for an hour? Or you left a handkerchief with a pizza-related map on it. Like, there was also another email of, how do I play dominoes on cheese pizza? And that dominoes meaning domination. Like, these emails were nonsensical in a way that you could tell that they were using code. Food should not be showing up in these emails. Like, the way they were talking about it, it didn't sound like you were having a dinner with somebody. It sounded like something else. But this has been proven to be code.
Apparently, hot dogs is code for little boys. And pizza is code for little girls.
Mm-hmm.
What about butterflies?
So the butterfly connection, it's been a couple years, but the MK Ultra episode we did, we talked about how people are brainwashed and programmed to be mind slaves for the government or other entities. Apparently, this is also used on child abuse victims, and they are programmed with what is known as monarch programming, where the psyche is splintered into multiple personalities and they program a separate personality to do the activity that they desire. So having butterflies around in the images would suggest that this is a mind control slave that you're looking at. And they also had other codes like Alice in Wonderland, and then they would have what are known as sex kittens. And the programming for that involves leopard print. You ever see leopard print everywhere in fashion? That has a tie to that kind of programming. So there's a lot of stuff that's underneath the Monarch programming secret government project or whatever, the MK Ultra.
The butterfly is a recognized symbol that is used by pedophiles. There's a butterfly symbol as well that's made of like 4 hearts. There's 2 pink hearts and 2 blue hearts.
And they're also interpolated on top of each other. When you have a big heart with a little heart inside, that's a pedophilia symbol, as well as that triangle with the spiral in it.
So that's why I keep bringing up hot dogs, pizza, and butterflies, and why it's weird to be mixed in with all this stuff.
Especially when you're hanging with other questionable people.
It's code language, guys.
So Chris Maggio has also done an extensive amount of photo shoots for Balenciaga. He's represented by a company called Eastco, and Eastco also has some random weird shit on their Instagram and on their website as well. Like on Instagram, there's a photo of a young kid shirtless with just clear tape on him, like some kind of ghetto Fifth Element kitty cosplay. It's really weird. So Balenciaga also stated that they will not be suing this dude, Chris Maggio. And interestingly enough, Gucci, which operates under the same parent company as Balenciaga, has recently done a tribute campaign to Kubrick with a great focus on The Shining and Eyes Wide Shut as well. And Nicole Kidman, the Eyes Wide Shut actress, appeared modeling for the sister company Balenciaga in this exact photo shoot that we're talking about that features the child abuse court case documents. And Nicole Kidman has also stayed completely silent regarding the campaign's controversy.
Totally above it, doesn't have to say anything.
And if you're like, oh, Gucci isn't involved either, well, they're under the same parent company. They're under the same umbrella, owned by the same people. And Gucci's head designer, Alessandro Michele, also has a penchant for nude kids, as you can see from his Instagram, where he habitually posts pictures of nude child statues.
Very high class. Very, very fancy high class for high class people. Expensive taste.
So then we've got Lada Volkova, which is a stylist that has worked really close with Demna and Gosha. Lada and Chris Maggio did a collaborated photo shoot for Double Magazine, and it featured some passport photo style themes. In these photos, you can see there's a child standing on top of a diaper box, and next to it is pet food, because they're trying to tell you children are pets. And there's also a photo of the passport with some Disney Cruise Lines stuff. What's the connection with Disney?
Oh, snap.
Well, the Disney Cruise Line used to stop at St. James Island, which is, of course, where
That's right.
Epstein had his crazy pedo temple.
Oh, and there's also, I see some Forcapil in this photo. I think that's an over-the-counter drug that just happens to have drowsiness as a side effect.
It also seems like signaling, dog whistling, winking, and nodding. It's hard to say precisely why they would have a kid pose with a bunch of diapers and pet food, etc., but it's a little creepy.
Yeah, it reminds me of James Alefantis had a picture of a baby with money in front of it, and the comment was, German baby is very expensive.
I'm going to go out here on a limb with the diapers being featured repeatedly in this photo shoot because children that are repeatedly sexually abused tend to have incontinence issues.
Yep.
Anyway, so that's Lada, the stylist, and Chris Maggio is the photographer for those. What about Lada?
When the Balenciaga scandal broke, a prominent number of threads, tweets, and posts focused on the Instagram of prominent designer born in 1984, Soviet Russia, Lada Volkova. Her father, captain of a cargo ship, would, as the story goes, be possessed of various Western goods, which exposed her to pop culture and, coupled with experiences online, kindled her desire to become an artist. According to Anastasia Fedorova of High Snobriety. She says, her rise is inextricably linked to the seismic effect of Demna's label Fediments after it emerged in 2014. It was immediately the hottest thing in fashion, an international gang of moody rejects who became the darlings of the new Parisian underground, with everyone wanting an invite to their party. That same year, 2014, Lada teamed up with fellow Russian of the same age, Gosha Rubenchinsky, following his first Dover Street market-backed runway show in 2014.
So if you don't know who Gosha is, he's a designer who's very close to the two prominent Balenciaga designers that we mentioned, Demna and Lada. He's close to them both personally and in the field. He's previously been accused of soliciting sexually explicit images from two teenage boys back in 2018.
Right. He was saying, like they use Instagram as a recruiting tool commonly, and that like there's not really much oversight on how old they are. And that was like not his fault. It's like, okay, dude.
Well, Lada's Instagram has some pretty fucked up pictures on it. She since has made it private, but...
So to start with the teddy bear, there actually is like a traditional, normal-looking teddy bear that is in bondage and tied to a rough cement wall.
Lada has a thing for teddy bears. She has a habit of posting teddy bear pictures a lot. She really likes teddy bears.
This creepy photo of a room with all this stuff in the room thrown everywhere, and there's probably real blood in my conspiracy theory brain all over the place, and things look broken and torn or scattered everywhere.
It does look like a child's bed in that photo as well.
It looks like a murder scene in a little girl's bedroom is what it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
He also really likes to show underage boys shirtless, as well as babies covered in blood. She's hashtagged Moloch on her photos before, so it's not like she's completely oblivious.
I hate this one of the little girl. She's taped to a high chair, like for a, like a bar stool chair. She's taped at the legs. It's more like a hexagram taped around her body, and then an X over her shoulders and thighs. And then her arms are bound behind. She has a piece of tape on her mouth, headphones on, and she's listening. It looks like there's some kind of music video on. And somebody actually researched the music video that she was listening to. I forgot what band it is.
It was actually a pretty good song.
Mm.
But she's not looking at the screen. She looks very dejected and bored. I mean, I wouldn't want to listen to it either, but, it's sad because I don't know. It's a lot of innocence propped with heavily adult and violent themes. Like, it's very uncomfortable.
She really likes to show children in distress. I can't remember the name, but there's a Twitter post that took like a bunch of screenshots before she privatized her Instagram. And she likes to show children in distress, even artwork that depicts children in distress. There's like a photo of a little girl holding onto a rose and pricking her finger with a thorn, and it shows like a scan of her brain and how like her
The pain
response, which is interesting because Balenciaga also really liked to use a white bunny rabbit as a symbol throughout their gift collection campaign with the children.
But curiously, this rabbit is not one of the items for sale, giving it a mimetic or symbolic significance. So if you'd like to follow us down the rabbit hole, please visit www.patreon.com/thewholerabbit, where your monthly donation of just $5 will get you access to the rest of not only this episode, but our entire library of extended episodes going back multiple years. I'll even send you a 5x5 vinyl sticker of our cover art, the secret keys to our Discord server, and if you're super hardcore and you sign up at $10, you'll get access to our voluminous show notes. This is one of those episodes where the show notes might help with following along. You can see some of the pictures we're talking about and go back and research each thing by yourself if that's what you're into.
There's tons of links to sauce, too.
Links for days. And then you can verify for yourself if this is all fiction, which it is. This entire thing has been fictional.
We made it up.
Thank you, everybody. Eat carrots and shoot lasers.
Way down low, you'll find a hole.